So tomorrow you should come up with a report.
I do just want to say that this meeting is being recorded, and the meeting is being called to order at 7:01. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, review and approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. I have a first from Jay and a second from Sarah. Jay, is your motion for both minutes?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Review and approval of claims.
Any question about which one?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims. Anybody checks? Millet?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do the claims first then.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye? All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Voided checks.
Yes, we have one payable to Hampton Inn in the amount of $1,415.20. It was emailed to me and then I got in the mail. So, and then I didn't check first, so, but then I caught it, it's like, oh, I remember, and it was 2 days, so check number 17292.
17292.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Eric. Any discussion?
Did they send it to you twice, or how did they get paid twice? I don't
It
understand.
was emailed to me by the coach,
It was email. All
and
right.
then I got
And
it
then
in
you
the
got us
mail.
out. I understand. Okay. But you only have one voucher? Or one check?
No, I issued one and mailed it already, and then
And-
I got it in the mail, so I.
So it was double invoiced?
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to public comment. This is anything not on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to reports.
First report, school-based clinic. You have the document in your packet. It's called At a Glance. Ricky, would you like to address that?
It was a great year for us. I thought for our first year being school-based health center. I provided you with the year-end numbers at the bottom. 70 primary care, 642 behavioral health, 1,125 nursing kind events. And then we had our oral health screenings and assisted with vision screenings. So that was a very good year. This coming year, we were already planning things. I met with Mr. Crump last week and provided some suggestions for different policies and handbooks and forms and all of those areas to fill in the gaps. I met with Mr. Fisher and Ms. Miller today. For quite a while, we hammered out a lot of things, set dates for vision screenings, and talked about many things. And I have lots of notes to still write up, present to my board. So one thing is coming up this next school year, a little bit of a change for us in that primary care, which is just our medical side as far as, little child sickness. That provider is going to be Allie Raff. Allison Raff has signed on with us, and she is super excited to be involved with the school district and there. So she'll be starting as a nurse practitioner in July with us. Right now, she's an RN. And have any questions?
Thank you.
Before we move on to the next one, I do have one question for the board, I guess, and for the clinic.
Okay.
How often are we going to be open? Are we going to be continuing the services in the facility?
Through the summer?
Right now, I looked ahead, and on Mondays, I do have a half a day. One of our therapists are meeting some students from this side of town, and it looks like it's a few weeks. I'll have to look further ahead in the scheduler, and it will let you know.
Okay, with that being said, do we want to keep this on the agenda for July? Is it something that we can drop from the agenda for July? Bring it back in August or even September, depending on activity? Is there an opinion by the board?
I would say drop it till September, in my opinion.
I would be available for any of the suggestions I've given. If you feel I should be present for that, let me know.
I believe our August board meeting might be the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's relatively early, so it'd be before we did the physical.
It's August
uh,
13th,
Yeah.
It's August 13th. okay.
Yeah. but it's before school.
I don't know
starts.
that it's necessary to come in and do a report at that point, when we would get all of the data in that September report.
And even if you'd like to go to quarterly reports, I'm okay with that too. So whichever you guys would like.
Okay, I'll look at postponing it until September. Okay, all right, moving on. Elementary principal, Ms. Miller.
All right, we ended the school year with 291 students at the elementary, 14 at Big Rose, and 26 at Camrose, for 331 total. You can see in May that we had a lot of field trips, concerts, end of the year celebrations. We did have some academics as well during that time, and a lot of assessments. So we finished up our first year of masked testing. As I noted down below, I really don't know how we did as a whole because they only gave the results as individuals, not aggregated data. So I couldn't even look at classes to see how we did. It was just by individuals.
So I'm gonna hop in there just for a second. The reason why we're only able to see that portion of the data right now is because we are in the pilot stage of this program. It'll actually start its first full year in Montana next year. So all schools will be required. We were one of the first adopters. And so we've done it for the last 2 years in the junior high and the last year in the elementary school. But we won't start having data to compare from year to year until 2 years down the road from now. So we'll get next year's data, and then we'll finally be able to compare next year's data to the year after that, when we have that. Go ahead.
All right, the end of the year, we had our color run and field day, and you can see that our list of sponsors right there, so huge thanks to all of them who donated. I think the kids and adults had a lot of fun to do something different. It was a very windy day, so the color was everywhere. So we didn't need the things to blow the color off of us at the end because the wind did it by the time we got back to the finish line. But something different to do every once in a while. Let's see. I also want to say thank you to Ron Gruber, Heidi Booker, and Ronnie Gooden
for working together to provide our students with music. They did a lot of collaboration throughout the year, and you can see the results in our end of the year concerts. Also, just end of the year, shout out to our kindergarten teachers, Amanda Padilla, Jennifer Hayes, and Peyton Monroe for their very nice kindergarten graduation. It was a nice send-off for the kids. They recited the pledge and they sang a song and they got their diplomas in their first year of school. Well, it was a great year.
Thank you. Any questions? Moving on to the junior high school report, Mr. Fisher.
All right, so our enrollment finished at 205, which was what it was in May. None of the classes individually changed. From the last time we met, you can see the month in review for the beginning of May, but I went through that at the last meeting, so I'm going to jump in here since we've met. We had the incoming 5th and our next year there'll be 6th and 7th grade orientations. We did them a little bit different this year with more activities. They spent just over a half day with us, had lunch, went through a few routines, met their staff that they'll have next year, and then Mrs. Waterroot had different activities and games for them. The kids had a great time, and
Maybe kudos to Ms. Waterroot. I know that
that's
Mr. Fisher told me that she did a fantastic job. I didn't have the opportunity to see it.
yeah.
Really
And-
impressed with her efforts.
Yeah, she put it all together and just did a great job. It was nice to have them for a little bit longer, to acclimate a little bit and have fun in our building. In the past, they only came over and spent like an hour with us, so it was kind of a rush through, and she had an idea to spend a half day with them, and it was fun. The kids had a blast. T. White took his dual credit welding class, and to get their certifications at Flathead Valley Community College, and that kind of wrapped up their dual credit welding. We had the 16th through the 18th and the 17th through the 18th. We had divisional softball in Glasgow and also had Northern Beach track in Glasgow, all in the same place. On the 20th, we had our senior awards program. I always feel that's a very special night, just showing how generous our community is and the scholarships and things that our kids get. Our kids are very fortunate to live in this community with the scholarship money they get. So, and then we had our high school pop concert on the 21st. That was wonderful too. On the 21st and the 23rd, we did our senior semester testing, and that day off in between was the day that we could fit Arbor Day and community cleanup in. Lots of events in that last month, so kids always have a good time doing that, and we'd like to get our kids out, helping out within the community, giving back. Booster Club banquet down at the golf course on the 22nd, and then we had the state Class B track and field meet in Laurel the 23rd through the 25th. On the 26th, we had graduation at 3 p.m., and then we came back the following week and did our junior high and high school semester exams, and then last day for 8th graders on that Wednesday, and last day for students on Thursday. So it was a great year overall.
Any questions for Mr. Fisher? Not seeing any. Moving on to my schedule. I do have one meeting in this upcoming month. That's Montana Rural Education Association. That meeting is on June 18th, Tuesday. I'll be leaving in the morning to go down there. Meeting doesn't start until noon. So I'll get down there, stay the evening, and then I'll head back. I'll be here in the afternoon on the 19th, finish out that day, And then I have some vacation that I need to get used up. I spoke with Angela about it, getting those days. I have 7 days that I need to use, so I have those days listed out here. I'm looking at taking the 20th, the 21st, the 24th, the 28th, and then July 3rd, 5th, and 12th. So getting those days used up. Any questions on, and I'll still be available. I'll still have my phone on me, so you can get in contact. Sure. Okay, any questions on my schedule? No? Okay. Moving on to action items. So you have a quote here. Travis wasn't entirely, he wants to get this approved. We need to get it approved so that we have insurance, but they're still negotiating. So he's telling me this is worst case scenario. I'm going to recommend that we approve it with where it's at. I'll tell you where those increases are. If you look at it, you have those dollar amounts on the left-hand side in pencil, like pen maybe is what it was originally done in. When you received your board packet, I didn't have that information. I got that this evening. So they're still working on negotiating these prices down. If you go all the way down to the bottom, the first one is the general liability. That one went up roughly $300. You look at the next page, you're looking at the commercial property. That's the one that went up $5,000. You look at our auto insurance, that went up about a little less than 1,000, maybe 800. And then you look at our commercial umbrella, and that one went up about 300. So the total difference from the 23-24 is going from $56,562 to $63,065. I do have the full packet, and I just got this today as well, so I have not read it, but if anybody would like me to look something up, I can try and do that for you. My recommendation is going to be to accept the increase for the 2024-2025 insurance premium.
I so moved. Second.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Jay. Any discussion?
Is there any change in the values placed on
The facility.
the facility?
Yes, and so that's where that made,
How much did that go up?
I don't think I'm gonna be able to tell. I think I'm gonna be able to tell you what the value is in here, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to tell you that dollar amount, but I can get that from Travis.
Under the new policy, what was the value?
So do you want me to ask Travis? Do you want me to?
No, what was it in that policy to this time? Was it like 21? No, I can't remember what it was last year.
I don't remember, but again, I just got this today, so I don't know. Replacement cost. Should have a pretty accurate number for the roof. So this is all of our deductibles, 10,000 on all of these. Actual.
You just want to make sure that that comes close to.
Okay, so administration and bus barn. We need to change the name there.
Last year, they valued the property at $28 million.
Yeah, it was 20 something.
28.
So I have. For this facility, 2.9 million. Everything is broken out in here. Total building. Outage. Stands, bleachers.
You might not have a total in there, I don't know.
But I'm sure it does. I just, like I said, I have not looked through it yet. Sue, did you have a page in the packet that listed that out?
No, it's just in my notes.
It's just in this.
Last year, they changed it to a 20-year roof. Elementary roof was 20 years old, cosmetic damage not covered. Some carriers are doing a percent deductible. $28 million property valuation. High school went up 4.5 million. Elementary went up 1.5 million.
Yeah, some of it's transcribed, whatever it counts.
I do not know that I'm going to be able to find it, Jay. But I
Right,
can
we'll
get
just
the
make
answer
sure.
for you from Travis as soon as, I will send him a text message if that's okay.
Or just email it, please.
Okay, I can do that.
Because you want to know, I mean, you went up 5.5 million last time, just see it,
Yep.
what the difference is this year.
So each
But you
building,
said, yeah, or he should have the total property value that they're insured.
okay, I will get that from Travis and get it out to you.
Any more discussion? All right, I have a first from Eric and a second from Jay. All those in favor, motion by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to resignation retirement. You have a letter of resignation in your packet from Sarah Kincaid. I recommend accepting that letter of resignation.
I move to accept the resignation of Sarah Kincaid. I'll second.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. We have new hires. First new hire, recommend hiring K-8 colony teacher Hazel Sugnob at BA +20, step 7, $46,200.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next, we're going to go through coaches. I'm going to do all the high school coaches together, if that's okay. Okay. Recommend hiring high school boys basketball assistant coaches Doug Richmond and Tyler White at $3,510. High school football assistant coach Brock Stores at $3,510. And high school volleyball assistant coach Grace Medill at $3,510.
So moved.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Sarah. Any discussion?
So this will put football at 4 then? Kyle,
Yes.
football at 4.
This will have football for.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to junior high, recommend hiring junior high boys basketball head coach Tyler White at $2,730 and junior high boys basketball assistant coach Robbie Miller at $2,340. Next to junior high and high school. Okay. Yeah, that's cross country, they keep those. Okay.
I move. A second.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next, junior high school ball assistant cross country coach Eric Munson at $3,510.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next one, junior high school volunteer cross country coach Shauna Munson.
Second.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Summer school technology help. I recommend hiring Colby Davidson at $12 an hour.
I move.
He's here tonight as well.
Wait, everybody call me.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And we have our summer school teachers. Recommend hiring Christy Cavalry, Riley Quick, Robin Maloney, and Jenica Wagan at $25 an hour.
So moved. Go ahead, sir. I'll second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to our COVID-19 reopening school plan update. I know this seems redundant. However, part of the federal dollars that we receive, we're required to review the plan every 6 months, regardless of if there's any money left in that pot. This should be the last time that we're doing this. You have a copy of the updated version. This is application review, June 11th, 2024. Open forum, should Shelby Public Schools purchase, or what should Shelby Public Schools purchase with federal COVID dollars? Some of the things that we did for lost learning time. We did our after-school program at Club Success. We used some of those dollars to pay for that. We started a summer school program that we implemented in the elementary school in 2021. And then we hired some additional staff for support staff as well as teaching staff with those COVID dollars. In addition to that, we used the funds for health and wellness related to COVID. We did the junior high school roof. We created the touchless restroom out at the football field. We purchased cleaning supplies and other equipment. Again, we had additional employees. 2 were already hired by Shelby Public Schools, and we kept those individuals on board. It's one of the difficult things with the budget when you're using COVID dollars, and now we're transitioning those to general fund dollars. So that's why our budget's a little bit tighter right now. It's going to be even tighter next year as we get into that. And we also spent some of those funds on professional development. We used the funds for teacher recruitment and retention. We used it to pay additional stipends at the beginning of the past 2 years. We did some tutoring support. We used COVID dollars to pay for that. Mental health, I can't remember exactly where we spent it on mental health. I don't remember if it was professional development or staffing. I would need to go back and look to see where those dollars went. And then we spent a lot on distance learning. We brought in Edgenuity, we brought in Opportunity, a lot of new hardware, Chromebooks, things like that with those COVID dollars. So those are the items that we spent it on. My recommendation is to, once again, accept the fact that that's what we spent it on.
So,
Second.
First from Sarah and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So I will take that, I will update that plan on our website, so if OPI goes onto our website, they'll see we have an updated plan, and I will inform them that it has been approved by the Shelby School Board. All right, moving on to the Big Rice Girls contract. No changes in that contract other than the dates. You have a copy of that in front of you for June 11th, 2024. Had an opportunity to take a look at it. Do you have any questions in regards to our contract with Big Rose Colony? My recommendation is to approve the new contract for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to the school-based clinic contract. You have a copy of that. I went through the contract with Ricky. There were some changes that we made, nothing substantial as far as information that you need to have in here. Just some of the things that were already taken care of throughout the year. For example, they are allowed to put in the sewer system. We remove that, it's already done that. So things like that, updated that language, updated the dates on it. I can't think of anything super large. There's a couple of grammatical mistakes that we corrected. But other than that, same style of contract. In the future, I think we're hoping to create a longer than a one-year contract. However, we're still working through the bumps and all of that sort of stuff, so we want the opportunity to continue to evaluate this and make sure that we're both on the same page. We're offering them what they need, and we're getting what we need from them. My recommendation is to accept the contract as presented for the school-based clinic.
so moved.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Bus use requests. First Baptist Church has requested the use of our largest bus so that they can transport students on July 25th, 2024 from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for Vacation Bible School. They stay here in town, they go from the church to the Heritage Center. Kevin Dodson has already agreed to drive, we already have the insurance. I recommend approving this request.
I so moved. Second.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Jared. Any discussion?
I'll abstain from the vote.
Question.
All those in favor, motion by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to contract offers, based on our conversation, I'm gonna break Shannon out from this grouping. Okay, so, offer of employment for the 2024-2025 school year. First recommend hiring paraprofessionals, Carissa Blair, Sandra Blosser, Kim Collins Moore, Jamie Combs, Chris Gore, Don Grove, Angel Hansen, Heather Landis, Hunter Miller, Gabby Price, Valerie Stratton, Lina Vandekop, Karen Watson, Tyler White, Jeannie Woodhelm, and Stacy Wolf.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I also recommend hiring paraprofessional Shannon Scarborough.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Jared. Any discussion?
I'll abstain from the vote.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to cafeteria staff, I recommend offering a contract for the 2024-2025 school year to Maggie Cooper, Christy McAllister, Ellen Rush, and Lyle Rush.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering employment contracts for the 2024-2025 school year to school secretaries Dallas Sterling and Alyssa Edwards.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Move on to offers of employment for the 2024-2025 school year. For custodians, I recommend offering the contract to Guy Knickerbocker, Scott Levesque, Dustin McNall, Marvin Oxteen, and David Wagner.
So moved. Do we separate those appointments?
Yeah.
There is a motion.
Oh, okay, so my motion.
It's second and first.
Do you want all of them separated out?
Individual asking.
That's up to you.
However you,
However you
I was
guys
requesting separating these out.
Okay,
Just read this.
here. I do have a motion on the floor.
You rescind.
Okay,
Motion has been rescinded. I will change my recommendation. I recommend offering employment for the 2024-2025 school year to custodian Guy Knickerbocker.
So moved.
second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering employment for the 2024-2025 school year to custodian Scott Levesque.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to custodian Dustin McNall.
So moved.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to custodian Marvin Oxteen.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to custodian David Wagner.
Second.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to bus drivers. I'm planning on doing these as a group. If anybody would like me to stop, I guess there's only one more that says a group, so everybody else gets it. So I'm gonna do it, this is a group unless somebody asks me. I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to bus drivers. Jeannie McGann, Kevin Dodson, and Clark Bancroft.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to payroll secretary Jessica Ruff.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to business manager Millette Flynn.
So moved.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to technology director John Howe.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I recommend offering an employment contract for the 2024-2025 school year to transportation director Kyle Fix.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right. Got all the hiring taken care of for the moment. Going to move on to first reading. I did not create a separate packet for you because there was only one policy, so I will reprint this. You don't need to return it to me. It is in your packet on the next page. That is Board Policy 8210. This is procurement of food services. I think I described this to you already. Just as a reminder, the USDA came in and they did an evaluation of our program. We just updated this policy recently. However, we didn't update it the way that they wanted us to update it. So they said we needed to include some additional things. I sent them a copy of this and they said, yes, this is what we expect you to have. My recommendation is to approve what they expect us to have so that we can finish out our review from the USDA. That is Board Policy 8210, procurement of food for food services.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, earlier today, we went through some policies, including board policy 4220. That policy is being updated for us. That's the first policy here. But these are all upon second reading. My recommendation is to approve upon second reading board policy 1420, board meeting procedure, board policy 2132, student and family privacy rights, board policy 3110, entrance, placement, and transfer, board policy 3121, enrollment and attendance, board policy 5325, breastfeeding in the school and workplace, board policy 8121, district-owned vehicles, board policy 3141F, non-resident student enrollment application, board policy 3612, district provided access to electronic information services, equipment, and networks, and board policy 3612-P1, district provided access to electronic information services, equipment, and networks.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Have any attendance or transportation?
There is none.
Perfect. Moving on to discussion items. The board has been working through what an expulsion hearing looks like, as well as some of our student discipline. These two policies are not changing, but they have been reviewed by the board. So I'm giving you another opportunity at the board meeting to take a look at those so that I can send them off to MTSBA. You can see that last statement there, last reviewed 8/8/23. That will be updated to today's date, 6/11/2020. Any questions on suspension and expulsion or student discipline? Not seeing any. I'll make sure to send that off to MTSBA to get that information updated. Bus purchase, I talked to Kyle today. He said we're still about a month out on that new bus. So hopefully by our next board meeting, we'll have that. If not, it should be shortly after. Bus and custodial negotiations, we got a bit of information this morning. We went through our board training. I think we'll just continue to try and work through the process and hopefully give an answer so that we can hopefully get a negotiated agreement with our bus drivers and custodians. Hiring in open positions. The only open position right now is that junior high title position. We interviewed somebody on Monday, so yesterday morning. Gosh, it feels like a long time. Today was a long time. Really high quality candidate. Contacted the individual, made an offer. She asked for some additional information. I sent that additional information off to her today. Hope to have another conversation with her next week. And if she accepts, we should have all of our positions filled for next year. So we do have an additional applicant that could also possibly fill that role with us right now. So we may look at interviewing that person. There's some other aspects of their certification that need to be worked out before we can go through that interview process with that individual. Any questions on where we're at with our hiring and open positions? Jay and Angela, thank you very much for getting your bios and pictures to me. They were due from all board members last week on Friday. You successfully achieved that expectation. Very much appreciated. If any other board members have the opportunity to take a picture of themselves and send me a short bio, I would certainly appreciate it. I will continue to harass you to try and get that information from you.
I'm willing to take pictures and write those bios if anyone.
I keep taking pictures, they don't turn out.
Yeah, I'll take one after the meeting for you.
Okay, I don't have any other discussion items. And moving on to correspondence, I do have two pieces of correspondence. We've got letters from John Tester for Jay Holt and for, well, it's not Jaren, but right now you're Jaren Lazar. I assume that's for you. So, congratulations on being re-elected and elected to the school board. I don't know why they don't send it out for people that don't have to run, but they don't. And only those that actually go through the election. So that's my correspondence.
All right, our next board meeting will be Tuesday, July 9th at 7 o'clock, and meeting adjourned at 7:51.
Very efficient running.
Yeah. I will